You know that lack of mental clarity that just drives you absolutely bonkers sometimes? The days when it feels like your mind just is not working. We've all been there. But what if this problem wasn't actually coming from our brains at all? What if the problem was stemming from our livers? In today's episode, we're diving into a science-backed, holistic truth that most health plans completely overlook: the relationship between your liver and your nervous system. This connection can explain why we sometimes don't feel clear, calm, or regulated the way that we want to be. By the end, you will walk away with one grounding practice that supports both your liver function and your nervous system, and you'll understand why supporting your liver improves your cognitive function. If your wellness journey has you stuck in a cycle of overwhelm and inconsistency, it's time to lean in. Together, we are unlocking the confidence and clarity to make your health feel like a peaceful return home. Welcome to the Health Habit Podcast. I'm Maria, a nature-loving herbalist, science-obsessed nutrition therapy practitioner, and your guide to holistic healing. If you're ready for realistic routines that bring more presence and fulfillment into your life, then brew up some tea or crack open a kombucha and let's get into it. Lingers for what seems like forever, and why your body just doesn't feel balanced, especially when you feel like you're doing everything right. But here's the truth that most people don't know. Your liver and nervous system are in constant conversation. And if one is overwhelmed, the other struggles. Now, inside my one-on-one wellness consistency coaching, we take concepts like this and we simplify them into intentional habits. Wellness rituals that help your mind feel clearer, keeps your stress lower, and makes your body feel like a place you actually can breathe in again. So if you're craving structure, clarity, support, you can absolutely get more of that. Just head over to thehealthhabit.net/services. Together, we'll bring the calm, connected, consistent lifestyle that you've been dreaming of to life. We take topics like today's episode and we deepen them. So just know that you never need to struggle alone. And trust me, I have been there. I spent years piecing together plans, strategizing, and man, I could have simplified a whole lot if I had just bitten the bullet and done a program like the one that I've created. So just know that that is always there to support you should it ever feel aligned. Head over to thehealthhabit.net/services. Now, let's get into the juice and magic of today's episode. It can be really tempting to view the body as a bunch of separate systems, but in reality, everything interconnects, either directly or indirectly. And liver function and the nervous system are no different. There is strong scientific evidence of a bi-directional connection between liver health, detoxification, and nervous system balance, meaning your liver affects the brain and the brain affects the liver. Here's how it works. The liver is innervated, so it's got a bunch of nerves that come from both sides of the nervous system: the sympathetic, more fight and flight side, and the parasympathetic, rest and digest side. And there's also sensory nerves in the liver that send signals directly to the brain. The brain then processes those signals and responds by altering liver activity. That's the bi-directional connection. Now, poor liver function can lead to something called systemic oxidative stress. Systemic meaning it's just all over the body, and oxidative stress is essentially just a state that causes more inflammation and cellular disruption in the body. And so this stress and inflammation, can disrupt the blood-brain barrier. You can think of this as like the curtain that the brain pulls back to let nutrients and different compounds in and out. And the barrier is supposed to be really selective. So you got to know the password to get through the curtain, you know what I'm saying? And when there's this disruption of the blood-brain barrier, such as what happens if your liver isn't functioning properly, that contributes to neuroinflammation, brain inflammation, and it can degenerate brain health. But independent of this more body-wide systemic stress inflammation state, a poorly functioning liver alone can also negatively impact cognitive function through a few different mechanisms. So there are specific proteins that the liver secretes that can activate inflammation pathways in the brain. Also, if the liver isn't functioning well, you can end up with more toxins circulating in the blood. And a lot of these are specifically toxic to the brain. Poor liver function can also alter the gut microbiome. Microbiome being all the little bacteria and microorganisms that naturally hang out in our body and gut. And when the microbiome is off, that can cause a lot of body issues. And there's also some enzyme dysregulation. Enzymes are essentially like they're little proteins that cause the physiology to happen in our body. And so when these enzymes get dysregulated, that can also amplify this oxidative stress and inflammation. So all four of those mechanisms are also going to negatively impact brain health and cognitive function. So what? What do we do? Well, we need to be part of the minority of people who actively think and talk about liver health. Because if we fail to support our liver function, we can gradually degrade our brain and nervous systems, which means we won't have the strongest, healthiest bodies. And also we won't feel that mental calm and clarity that comes from having a balanced and supported nervous system. And at the end of the day, that's what we want, right? If we don't feel mentally calm, if we don't feel like our headspace and our emotions are regulated, life is just not as good. So what is the most evidence-backed activity that we can do to support our nervous system and improve our liver function? There's two main ways to do this. The number one is vagus nerve stimulation. The vagus nerve is the center of the parasympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system is the rest and digest side. That is the side that we need to be in if we want to balance our nervous system. Now, our body is going to fluctuate in between the fight and flight and the rest and digest naturally. We want a little bit of both. But as a general rule, we want to spend more time hanging out in that restful side. And by stimulating the vagus nerve, you can get yourself into that side of the nervous system. The second best way to support nervous system and liver function is by reducing our stress. Now, the top way to stimulate the vagus nerve is through electrical stimulation tools. But unfortunately, I am not a nervous system practitioner, so that's not something that I can powerfully speak on. But I am a yoga instructor, so we can talk about breathwork methods that maybe aren't as scientifically studied, but have been practiced for generations. These breathing exercises are known as pranayamas in yoga, and what has been found to happen is that practicing this yogic breathwork can enhance something called vagal tone. Essentially, we're just increasing the activity in the parasympathetic nervous system. So we're bringing more calm and balance to the nervous system and also to our minds. And it's also been found to increase heart rate variability. Both of these things, vagal tone or the activity in our parasympathetic nervous system and heart rate variability, are excellent indicators of how balanced and regulated our nervous system is and how well our vagus nerve is functioning. So there is one breath that I would most suggest, and it's called alternate nostril breathing, or in Sanskrit, Nadi Shodhana Pranayama. Now, this is a very simple breath exercise. Essentially, what you're going to be doing is you're going to switch whether or not you are breathing from the right or the left nostril, hence alternate nostril breathing. So we are going to block off the right nostril with the thumb and then the left nostril with the ring finger. And we're going to switch which nostril is blocked off with every exhale. You can easily look up alternate nostril breathing for some basic tutorials, but in its essence, that's what it is you're going to inhale through one nostril, then you're going to switch and exhale through the opposite nostril, inhale back through that same nostril, switch and exhale through the opposite nostril. And you're just going to go back and forth. And you can do this really for as long as you want. But your specific homework for the week, the homework that is going to help you support your nervous system and your liver function, is to try doing this alternate nostril breathing for 2 to 5 minutes every day. You can work this into your day at any time, but for extra potency, I would suggest doing it whenever you feel stressed. You can do it before meals or before bed. And that's what I want you to do for a full week. See how this practice makes you feel. Okay, my friend, now that you understand how deeply your liver and your nervous system shape your clarity and cognitive function, I want to ask you something. How long have you been trying to feel more regulated without actually knowing where to start? How long have you felt stuck in cycles of stress, inflammation, overwhelm, or inconsistency, hoping that the next supplement, the next protocol, or the next boost of motivation will be the thing that brings it all together? My love, you deserve more than piecing it together alone. You deserve a holistic plan that supports your nervous system, your liver, your energy, your mind, your body, and your daily life. And that's exactly what we do in the Wellness Consistency Coaching Program. We focus on foundations that actually move the needle: streamlined nutrition, calming the nervous system, supporting your detox pathways, simple routines that don't overwhelm you, and daily practices that help your body feel safe, clear, and grounded. If anything in this episode resonated with you, if your body was saying, yes, this is what I've been missing, then now is the time. Head over to thehealthhabit.net/services and join me today. Let's build some extra clarity, consistency, and calm. And to deepen the practice and the learning that we have started today, I'm going to be sending out an email newsletter on Wednesday. So weekly newsletters are always going to start coming out on Wednesday now, just to help you guys integrate more of the learnings. And every newsletter takes it one step deeper. So if you're not already signed up for the email newsletter, girl, what are you waiting for? Head over to thehealthhabit.net/newsletter. There's a lot of juice. If you think the podcasts are good, you're really going to love the emails for sure. And until next week, I hope you enjoy the alternate nostril breathing practice. If you are local to the Rochester, New York area, I actually have a free donation-based yoga class, and we practice breathwork drills like this in every single class. So feel free to shoot me a DM or an email if you're interested, and come join. I love you guys, and I will see you next Saturday for the next episode. Bye!